No, I'm fucking not leaving, dude.
Huh?
I don't want to fucking leave. Why would I go to In-N-Out?
Because I don't want to be hanging out with your best friend and your boyfriend.
Okay, is Shannon not
With
there?
your brother and your best friend. Huh?
Did Shannon not go?
Now she's coming?
Okay, there you go.
You're horrible.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, Adrian's calling. I let him drive my car.
What?
I'm letting him drive my car, so Adrian's calling. Okay, hold on. Hey,
What?
never mind. I sent Adrian and Michael home.
Why?
Because Adrian's tired and he needs friends. Alright, love you. Bye.
Bye.
welcome back to another video. This time, instead of Battlegrounds, I want to talk about a game I've been playing a lot recently, and that's Next Day Survival. So Next Day Survival is a very, very, very good game for only $10. Real quick, I just want to make it clear that this is not a paid promotion. I have not been paid by the developers of this game. I just want to talk about this game because I really enjoy it, and I want people to buy it. So, yeah, that's all this is. A lot of people describe it as a game that's a lot like DayZ if DayZ was made by real developers. Now, if you're like me, you've played a lot of DayZ. I have like 600 hours in the game. The problem with DayZ, however, is, well, there's a lot of problems actually. There's the optimization problem, where the game just doesn't run right if you don't have a very good computer. There's also the fact that DayZ is just riddled with bugs and glitches. Now, bugs and glitches are expected to be in an early access game. That's not a big deal. But the fact that DayZ has been in early access since December 16th, 2013 really says a lot about the developers. It's been in early access for almost 4 years. And if you played the game all the way back when it came out and you play it now, the difference is negligible. It's almost as if they've made no progress in almost 4 years. On top of that, the game was $35 and it sold very well. Now, it's very weird to me that DayZ is in such a failed state right now because it's made by Bohemia Interactive. And these are the same people that have made the Arma games. Now, I don't know what team specifically works on DayZ, if it's like the different people that work on Arma or what, I don't know. But it's so weird to me that this game sold so well and was such a wanted thing by all the community that plays these kinds of games, that they would just not develop it right. And by that I mean they barely develop it at all. They barely release updates, and it's very few and in between when they do. Anyway, I'm getting very off topic. This isn't meant to bash DayZ or anything like that, but this is meant to show you that why this other game, Next Day Survival, is just such a good value for $10. I would if there wasn't people that were shooting at me. I got that. Alright, Thorin, I got your back. Is there anybody else around? That's a yes. I got him. He's dead. I got him, dude. The game works very well. I barely ever experienced bugs in it or anything like that. And it's really just straight up a fun game to play. So let's get into the features of Next Day Survival a little bit. So the main thing people play is PvP. Obviously that means player versus player. There's 3 main factions in the game, and kinda 2, but there is a third kinda. So you start off as neutral, and that's kinda like the weird faction where you don't, it's not really a faction. You just kinda start off as that, and then eventually you get to pick your faction, either being civilian or looter. Now, I played this game a lot with my friend, and we personally picked civilian. Now, in order to get to that phase of being able to pick your faction, you have to do a few missions in the beginning of the game. And the missions work flawlessly. It's kind of actually kind of amazed me how well the missions work in a multiplayer game. So you talk to this guy, he gives you a quest, and you just go and do it or whatever. And it's easy to do, and you just kind of move along the game like that until you get to pick your faction. And then you finally pick your faction, and then you get sent to the base of your faction, and you'll do quests for those people there. Now, for the quest, you'll get rewards like money and stuff like that, and loot, and you'll be able to take this stuff and, better yourself in the game. Now, of course, with it being a PvP game, while you're doing your missions, you have that chance of just getting killed by another player. In which case, the mission fails, and you have to restart it with the guy. A quick example of this is when I was doing a quest for one of the guys, and I had to go to a medical station and get some stuff out of there and bring it back to him. When I got there, I saw a guy, and I had to decide whether or not I was going to kill him or trust him to be friendly, and well, here you go. I don't think I made a new friend. Not yet. He's trying, Oh, I killed him. He sucks. So I decided instead of risking it, I'm just gonna kill him. Now, I was able to do that because I was still neutral in the game. And that brings me to the faction system and how it all actually works. So when you're a civilian, if you kill another civilian without being physically provoked first, it turns you into a traitor, and you get to be a traitor for 90 minutes. Now, depending on your reputation with your faction, when you get out of being a traitor, you could either end up being the same faction that you were before, or it'll put you in the other faction. And a lot of it depends on how many bad things you do while you're a traitor. It's a very simple system, and basically when you do quests and stuff like that, you get plus reputation, and also when you kill people of the other faction, you get plus reputation. And that includes other players or AI. So let's say I'm a civilian and I have a reputation of plus 50. That means I've killed 50 people or done quests and stuff like I've accumulated 50 reputation points. For every person of the other faction that you kill, you get +1 reputation. So it's pretty slow, but depending on how much you do, you can build up a lot of reputation points. So now, like I said, let's say I kill a civilian in the game. Whether it be on accident or on purpose, I get -1 reputation and I turn into a traitor for 90 minutes. So while I'm a traitor, I'm basically an enemy to everybody. I'll get shot at by my faction and by the other faction as well. As well as if civilians find me and kill me because I'm a traitor, they also get plus reputation points for doing that. So like I said, let's say I have plus 50 reputation points for my faction and I'm a traitor. So now I go and kill a couple more civilians since it doesn't really penalize me again for being a traitor. Say I kill 10 more civilians and now I'm at plus 40 reputation. I'm still going to be a civilian by the end of that 90 minutes. Now I personally think this should be a little bit overhauled and maybe you get -3 reputation when you're a traitor for killing more civilians to kind of balance it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure as of right now it's just -1. And the way you tell if someone's a civilian or a looter or a traitor or a neutral is that you just aim at them with your crosshair. You just hover your crosshair over their body and it'll show you what they are. It'll also make them green if they're part of your faction, red if they're part of the other faction, or white if they're neutral. Yo, you, buddy. You still punching him?
Having a little brawl over there?
Alright.
Break it up, boys, break it up.
Oh, I think this one's gonna win. He's hiding behind a civilian. It actually f***ing worked. Sorry. I can't believe it actually f***ing worked.
What'd you do?
And that's a very basic look into how the faction system works in this game. Now something else that this game has that a lot of survival games don't is it actually has like a stash that you can use. So at the main faction bases, there's a storekeeper there, and you can do a couple things with him. You can buy and sell stuff, or you can use him as a storage. His storage space isn't unlimited, but it's pretty big, and you can fit a lot of good things in there, and you can always have stuff that in case you die in the game, you can go and grab some stuff and try and go kill the person that killed you. Now, some people don't like stash systems, and they don't like that. They like the idea of, like, DayZ, where if you die, you then have to go. Back up, you have to get all of your stuff back again and maybe try and find someone else to kill them. And I understand that. However, I'm more of the kind of person that likes having the backup stash and that I can just go and re-loot back up from there and then go back in. A couple other things about the game is that there's vehicles. You can find a vehicle and you need a battery, spark plugs, keys, and gas in order to use it. The vehicles work really well, like really, really well. I don't think no, actually I have not encountered a single glitch or bug when it comes to any of the vehicles. They're all very, very well done. There's a skill system I haven't really paid much attention to as of right now, but it is there, and where it's basically if you keep up with your like eating and drinking and stuff like that, it'll level up your eating and drinking, so you have to eat and drink less. There's a pretty large selection of guns in the game, however, I kind of find myself using the same ones that I really like to stick to. There is PvE, where you don't have to worry about players killing you. I'm not really a big fan of that. I think it's too, boring to kind of go into a PvE server where it's just, you only have to worry about AIs and not actual players. And probably one of the best features of this game is that how it's not graphically intense. You don't need a supercomputer to run this game by any stretch of the imagination. Very, very modest PCs will be able to run this game at decent frame rates with really no problem at all. The visuals in the game aren't exactly stunning, but they're not bad either. The map is pretty big. It's not the biggest map I've ever played on, but it's pretty big, and you'll actually realize how big it is when you're running around a lot and you don't have a car. It is worth mentioning that it is nowhere near the size of DayZ's map. DayZ's map is ridiculously big. It's definitely probably one of the biggest maps in a game right now. It's insanely huge. This game's map does not come close to that, but it is fairly large for itself. And as well as the main map, there is a couple entrances to tunnels that you can go in, and then there's these military tunnels where a bunch of AI spawn. And it gets really fun in the tunnels because you can be killing AI, and then it'll tell you that someone else has entered the tunnels. And if that person is of the opposite faction, well, now it's really, really tense in the tunnels because you gotta maybe try and find this guy and kill him before he kills you. Overall, the game has mostly positive reviews on Steam. It July 20th, 2017 to like everybody. I think it was available in Russia before it was released on like Steam for everybody. I'm not exactly positive on that. That's what I heard. But yeah, it's fairly newly released as far as like on Steam goes, and they're very good at updating it. They've already released a few updates. They've fixed things. They're banning players that are cheating and stuff like that. And if you're me, that's like my biggest gripe with DayZ is the whole lack of updates, lack of banning, all that stuff. I'm not saying this game will replace PUBG if that's your main game that you like playing right now. I'm not saying it will replace any of your main games, but it is very, very worth looking into for $10. In my opinion, it's by far the most value $10 I've found so far. I've never found a game that was $10 that I enjoyed as much as this one. And it's also very important to note.
What's up?
Eat a fucking pizza?
Did I?
Yeah,
No?
damn fucking right. Okay, thank you. I made that specialty.
Shut the fuck
You know
up.
I put on it. I put some hot sauce on it. Don't eat it.
What the fuck, dude?
You
Wow.
eat the food in the freezer too?
What?
Huh?
What?
What? I said, did you see the food in the freezer?
What food? No, I didn't look.
Don't touch any of that shit.
Shut the fuck up.
Alright. Don't, yeah, don't eat.
Eat whatever the fuck I want, bitch. Shut the fuck up.
Don't eat all of it.
Eat whatever the fuck I want.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
Shut the fuck up.
Don't bitch. I love you though. You told me you do whatever you fucking want. Don't call on me. I love you, bitch.
Fuck off.
And we gotta stop loving you, bitch.
fucking shit for nothing, dude. Fuck.